Okay, everybody, welcome aboard LATAM Chile. It's Land Chile is the call sign today. 24 Quebec, flying towards Quito in Ecuador. Currently just descending below 23,000 feet, which is actually getting surprisingly close to terrain, as this is one of the highest airports in the world. The approach today we selected is the RNAV Tango runway 36, which is basically from our waypoint in Negal. We're going to go straight to Ilpix and then start the approach down here. It's basically following this line here. We're going to make a curved approach over there and then land on short final there. So over the city and then left turn over to runway 36. Just entering some heavy cloud ahead now, so I'm going to put the seatbelt signs on, as it may well be a little bit bumpy in here. I'm going to use auto-brake medium for this, as it's a high-speed landing due to the high altitude. Airport elevation is Cuban 10,300, so we'll set 10,300 here, and I'm going to maybe set app nav. So app nav now by arming approach mode, and as you can see the mountains here. We're not quite at Ilpex yet, which is the initial approach fix, and the go around procedure is then straight ahead to QM006, QM018, and then Ilpex, and enter a holding, and then leave Ilpex. We're ready to make the next approach. Okay, let's just get the weather for Quito International, so I'm just going to go over to here and click on my flight and just get the local QNH 1022. Okay, fuel at 26, scattered 3,000, broken 10,000, that's what we've got here. This is broken 10,000 above. So that's that layer. Altimeter's 3020, no sig changes, and temperature's 18. So actually going to set some of this into, oh, that's all set in there anyway. So we just appeared now on the chart on Navigraph, so we're inbound Ilpex, we're descending and reducing speed down to 250 knots. App nav I've armed already, we're following the profile descent for now, and I'm going to, after Ilpex, I'll activate the approach speed. So you can see the speed's reducing quite nicely now as that deceleration point was programmed in. We'll be shortly turning over the main city here, so there's a big hill here, and the old airport used to be in here, and it was actually quite significantly more difficult. A little bit more insane with the terrain. In any case, so we're just starting our left turn now towards the approach. We're going to do landing lights on because the airport's only just below 10,000 feet. It's at 7910, so that's nearly 8,000 feet. So I'm basically doing 10,000 above that. So for example, my speed limit that I set in my FMC is 250 below 18,000. Now the main issue we're going to have is basically the true airspeed calibrated for higher altitudes is naturally faster. So our true airspeed is 354, even though if we were closer to the ground, something like 2,000 feet, it would be much less of a difference. But because we're all the way up here at 8,000 feet, we're going to notice that the air density is quite reduced, which leads to a very high true airspeed, which leads to a high ground speed. So basically we'll be coming in at about 160 knots ground speed roughly. That's why I'm going to be using auto-brake medium. Let's arm the spoilers already. Passenger signs are done. Yeah, so now we're turning left, we'll be turning right even shortly over the city. So you can see it just about underneath here. Speed's not below 250 knots yet, so I won't take the windscreen wipers just yet. Old airport. I don't think we're quite in Quito yet, we're probably in some suburb. So if I look on the map at where we are, so I'm currently coming in, Quito is nearly there. So the old Quito airport, we'll see that on the right hand side, there's a big long strip of a park basically. It'll be over there somewhere. Bit of spoiler since we've only got about 20 miles to go. 17 miles to go, so yeah, we want to reduce that speed a little bit now. So let's see if we can find the old airport through this cloud. Probably see it in about a few seconds, I think. So it might be there. A little bit further away. You can see the ground speed there is quite high. Oh yeah, the old airport was in there. Oh, there it is, see? Long Park. That's the old airport. So that's no longer in use. Speeds below 250s. Flaps 1. And gear down. Activate and confirm approach phase. That engages final lap. We check UNH 1022 set. We've got a few bits of gusty winds. I'm going to take some speed brakes out. I'm going to keep them armed. I'm going to set flaps 2 now. Speed below 200 knots, flaps 2. There's Quito Mains Airport, so you can see these gorges here actually also do cause some problems. As you basically have no real gauge of where the horizon is. It's completely in a valley bowl, and it's a really good approach, but it's also quite tricky because you can't judge it very well. Okay, gear down. I'm going to start that left turn shortly. It's quite a short final, so I'm going to try and fully configure. There you go, flaps full, fully configured in about now. We basically need to get that speed down for the last part here. Quito traffic, land Chile, 24 Quebec inbound, RNAV Tango, runway 36, making final turn now. So that's our final turn call out. Okay, I'm happy with the speed. Make this a bit more direct, actually. We can get away with that probably. Just watching out now since I've decided to go visual. I can see there's a cloud on the right there, so I'm actually going to have to avoid that cloud to remain visual. Keep bringing it down now. Ground speed 154 at the moment, so
terrain
yeah, as
ahead.
I said.
Pull up.
Actually, no, we're not going to do that, so terrain system's off, we're visual, so it's okay.
$2,500.
I also believe the glide path is 2.8 rather than 3. And again, that's to reduce the amount of vertical speed you have due to the increased ground speed, so that when you actually do come into land, the flare isn't overly difficult. Okay, there's the runway in sight again. As you can see, I'm a little bit high. Even though the RNAV's telling me otherwise, we turn off the flight director now. Okay, here comes the RNAV back again, and as you can see, it's now telling us that we're way too high. We're going to rectify that with relatively steep bank angle left turn now. Against the wind, 13 knots from the left hand side. Keep slightly pushing the nose down just to keep it during the turn there. Yeah, we're going to have a high rate of descent. We need to get the aircraft down, so okay, that's a good picture for me. I'm going to start reducing that vertical speed now.
$100 above. Minimum. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
spoilers up and flaps away. There's the airport on the left. This is Microsoft did actually make one of these. This is pretty nice. Let's find a stand number, get GSX set up and ready to take us in. Let's assume there's follow me at this airport. Let's take stand 11. Normally follow me would already be waiting for us, but obviously can't set up like that. But we vacated the runway, so no problem. Let's sort all the lights out now. APU can start up. Strobes can come off, wing lights can come off. Just wait on that, follow me now. Landing rate wise, as you saw, long flare. 196 feet per minute at 1.00 G, and we were just on the second from last touchdown zone marker, just before it. Doesn't look like we're getting a follow me, so just revoke the follow me and then show me the spot. Okay, so we'll just go in here and then turn left. It's definitely one of the most capable airliners I've ever seen. I love this plane. Compared to a Boeing or something, it's just, the technology is just leaps and bounds. You know, a lot of things you don't have to think twice about. Where in a Boeing you'd always have to think about them. It just takes workload off the pilot. No, GSX has done the jetways. Looks like we're going to be getting a marshaller today. Slowly. Okay, and the actual sign for engine cut is not this knife across throat movement, because it's quite threatening, to be honest. The actual signal is you have an open hand and you clasp it shut as if you're extinguishing a fire, because you're extinguishing the engines basically. Those engines are spooling back slowly. And we're going to get a GSX jetway. These actually look fantastic compared to what comes with the game. Maybe I'll swap all of them to these. There's even a little operator guy sitting in there. Look at that. Brilliant. It's obviously going to do that. That's just what they do. Welcome to Quito. Let's do some deboarding.
The boarding requested. Passengers deboarding starting.
This is just ground clutter, I think, from the scenery, so yeah, that needs to be removed at some point.